Welcome to the Metaverse Iceberg chart. Hopefully by now you know how these charts work, but here's a quick explanation. At the top we have some more well-known topics, but the further we make it down this chart, the more obscure these topics will become. The Metaverse seemed like a joke at first, but it is really real and already exists. It isn't something we're waiting for, it's right in front of us already, and it's getting more and more advanced, more immersive, and more appealing. There's business, religion, crime, and now real feeling, like touch. It is to the point where you can do almost anything you want in the metaverse, potentially numbing real life and hooking people to stay in this man-made universe that we call the metaverse. Welcome to the sky. The next few topics are simple really. Just look at them as the building blocks of the metaverse, concepts that must be understood so that the next deeper layers make sense. Alright, so here's a quick definition of what metaverse actually means. A virtual reality space in which users can interact with a computer-generated environment and other users. So after reading that, you probably see that we already have these really, such as VR chat. It was one of the first ones that became popular on virtual reality headsets like the Quest 2 and so on. In these worlds, you can get on there and meet friends, go to McDonald's, get in cars, and do almost anything that you could in real life, besides actually feel that you're there or actually eat the McDonald's. But still, you can meet friends and explore the world, and all from your bed. Some of these metaverses are more complex than others. VR chat's actually one of the most well-known metaverses already. Here's a list of different metaverse projects. You got Nifty Island, Somnium Space, Axie Infinity, Sandbox, Star Atlas, Pixelinks, and Decentraland. I probably mispronounced all of them as usual, but these are some of the most popular metaverses that already exist and people spend money on. These are basically like all their own games. It's not just one metaverse, there's a ton. And to make things more confusing, Facebook is creating their own metaverse called Meta, basically to capitalize on the whole meta concept. So just like in the real world, you can buy items to flex on other people in the metaverse. Here are a few examples of things that you can already purchase to show off for other people. Shirts, pants, shoes, chains. Just like how most celebrities wear chains that are made of solid silver or gold, you can now do that in the metaverse. But of course there's no real gold or silver in it, its value is somewhere else. And we'll talk about that in a minute. The part that makes this the most interesting is that these items actually have real value, which is why wearing a chain in the metaverse could actually mean that you have some wealth to your name. Hear me out on that. So basically all these items are sold as an NFT. And I think you guys have heard what an NFT is by now, but here's a quick blurb on that. A non-fungible token is a non-interchangeable unit of data stored on a blockchain, a form of digital ledger that can be sold and traded. Types of NFT data units may be associated with digital files such as photos, videos, and audio. So yes, you guys could go buy a shirt in the metaverse and you can back it up that you own that digital asset, and you can even see how much it's worth. You could trade it in and get your money back or capitalize on it and make some money from a shirt that you bought in the metaverse that you can't even wear in real life. Some of these shirts in the metaverse could actually be worth more than a real shirt in your closet. So yes, you can flex a fake gold chain now. Well, now that you guys know that you can actually purchase things in the metaverse like clothes, you should also know that there has to be a seller, a real company behind this, or a creator that is selling this for a profit. This is creating a very real economy in the metaverse. It's a real thing. You can actually make money here and spend money. And it's all based on the blockchain, which keeps it somewhat safe. Probably safer than $1 in your wallet. You can even buy virtual property as an NFT that you can visit, and you can even create things on this property. We're definitely going to go into that a little deeper because that is a whole rabbit hole in itself. But you can have a net worth in the metaverse. Now your assets aren't all just houses and cars, you can have assets in the metaverse. You can own things that are worth real money in the real world. And with that being said, you can make some pretty good money in the metaverse. There's a lot of people already capitalizing on this and getting into metaverse real estate, and trust me, that'll be talked about a lot later on in this video. Welcome to the surface of the iceberg. Now that you can hopefully understand the basics of the metaverse, let's look at how all this can play out and how these outlandish ideas have become reality, or should I say virtual reality. Okay, yes, this is a real thing, I'm not even joking. On November 19th, the famous American singer, Justin Bieber, hold up, I thought he was from Canada. He held a 30-minute metaverse concert on the virtual music platform called Wave. The avatar Justin Bieber sang his latest album, Justice. Alright, so basically the way Wave works is just like going to a real concert. I assume that you pay for some subscription or you pay per concert, and it's kind of like VR chat where you're going into this environment that someone created for this concert. It no longer has to be in an arena, it could be something as simple like this. Something on the streets, and Justin Bieber is literally just dancing on top of a car. Now you might be wondering, is that actually Justin Bieber in the VR headset making himself move like that? And yes, it's actually kind of cool because the artist that will be performing has very advanced tracking, and it can track something as simple as a heel tap, and they have a special thing on their face so that you can really see their expressions in the VR universe. This is actually very immersive, and you guys can hear them singing just like a real concert, but you can feel like you're even closer to them. Obviously, it's not gonna look exactly like Justin Bieber, it looks more like a Wii character, but we're getting there. You can even applause and give feedback to the artist while they're singing. As you guys could see here, they're literally like hearts flying into the creator, kind of like you guys see on Instagram Live. Alright, Snoop Dogg has always been continuing his brand in other ways, so this is just like one more example of Snoop Dogg continuing his brand. The Snoopverse, as it's being called, is a portion of the Sandbox Metaverse owned and operated by Snoop Dogg. So yes, Snoop Dogg is actually in Metaverse real estate, making that money in the virtual world and in the real world. Basically, his plot of land allows you to go to exclusive parties if you guys own the Snoop Dogg private party pass, which is an NFT. So you guys have to purchase this NFT to get the exclusive rights to go hang out with Snoop Dogg at his parties and go listen to him perform. This is taking place on the Sandbox, which is one of those metaverses that I talked about earlier. Definitely probably one of the most popular ones right now, and one of the best places to buy and sell virtual reality real estate. So this NFT that you guys had to buy to get the rights to have these parties with Snoop Dogg basically started at $780 a piece, but now they go for about $4,000 plus. Not to mention that someone just paid $450,000 just to be his virtual neighbor in the Sandbox. So yeah, that's real money, and a lot of money. Well, you're officially entering the cold, dark water that lies around this iceberg. These topics sound insane and fake, but these are all real things, and they're becoming more and more popular as time goes on, proving that the metaverse can help us do the unthinkable. So I mentioned already that there's a whole economy in the metaverse, and in order to run a business, you guys need staff. Everyone knows that. And of course, there are real jobs now in the metaverse. Just one example that I found was on Jordan Welch's channel, where he was hired to basically run a casino in the metaverse. This was a real 9-to-5 job, but in virtual reality. Imagine waking up in the morning and getting ready for work, but instead getting into your car, you just put on the virtual reality goggles and you're in this other world, helping people and working. All from your bed or maybe even toilet. Alright, probably not that one, but it could be done. Just saying. Alright, so here's a list of actual jobs that you guys could get in the metaverse. This is all from the NFT Versus channel. So we got community manager, social media manager, graphic design, which is a big one, a developer like the creator of Tron, and then an advisor. Something kind of similar to this job that Jordan Welch took in the metaverse. You could kind of just help people and make sure that everything is running smoothly, and if there is an error, you guys could help them and report this problem to the developer. From what it seems like, the advisor would probably be the best position that is actually in virtual reality. You're basically just a face that someone could talk to get help, or at least report a problem. These people aren't making a ton of money, but they're making a little bit something while playing a game, so just something to think about. Could be a part-time gig. Alright, this sounds like a joke, but here's an article by the New York Times to help validate this topic. So as of right now, these don't appear to be legitimate marriages at all, more just like a party or a get-together that you can have with people all across the world. Sounds like you're still gonna need the courthouse to make this an official marriage, but it could still at least be a nice ceremony. Like a ceremony within a video game, it is important to note that any weddings that occur solely in the metaverse are currently not legal. Even virtual weddings by video conference, which many states allowed during the height of the pandemic shutdown, have since been outlawed in New York State and elsewhere. Still, the metaverse will take these virtual celebrations much, much further, experts say, and offer almost boundless possibilities to couples. Here's another example that was set to be India's first virtual marriage. One cool thing about this one was that they're actually able to recreate an avatar of a loved one that passed away before the wedding. And now, this loved one could be there in the wedding, and they could feel some sort of presence from someone that they would normally never actually get to see again. Alright. You made it halfway down. Now things are gonna take a bit of a turn for the worse, depending on how you view these next topics. The whole goal of these social media masterminds is to hook you in and keep your attention as long as possible. Just look at Mark Zuckerberg, for example, the social media king, creating his own metaverse to hook us into, to further build his empire of data. If you want people to stay in the metaverse, there are 3 key points that you'll need to capture. Here's one of them. So Life.Church was one of the first churches to capture in on this trend. There's actually been churches that were paid to shut their doors to remain exclusive to VR. So here's a website of a VR church. We brought the church to the metaverse. At Life.Church, we'll do anything short of sin to reach people who don't know Christ, to reach people no one is reaching. We'll do things no one is doing. So you guys could explore this all you want. Here's basically a quick way of how this may look. People sitting in like an auditorium watching the screen where they have a service. So instead of going to your religious event, you can just stay in VR and not leave the house. This is just one way that they can keep you consuming their product. You don't have to leave, you don't have to take off the headset, you can just remain in the virtual world full of their distractions. So they have religion covered, but now they need to get education figured out. How can we keep people in the metaverse so they don't have to leave to go to their classes? Well, thanks to something that happened recently, a lot of people are stuck doing college online anyways. So when would be a better time to do virtual reality learning? Meta by Facebook is already trying to create ways to have office meetings in virtual reality with very realistic avatars, and these could be used for educational purposes. Just think about the Wave platform that we talked about already for the Justin Bieber concert, and turn that into a college hall where you have a professor giving a lecture instead of a concert. You guys could come up with more creative surroundings. You guys don't just have to be in a classroom anymore. You guys could be up in the Himalayas, just chilling on top of a mountain, listening to your professor teach you about algebra. This could be very useful, but if you think about it, the lack of human connection is starting to get kind of scary. People say that this is going to advance the human connection and make it more real and give us access to more people, but it seems like it's becoming less and less real actually. Reality is starting to turn into something we could have never even imagined. And once again, if they could cover education in the virtual world, this would keep us home even more. There would be no reason to get up early and go to your classroom. You just wake up early and throw the goggles on. There'd be no reason to get in your car and drive to a college. No reason to move to a different state to go to the college you want, when you guys could do it all from your bed. So they have entertainment, religion, business, fitness, and education all covered already. Almost everything you could ever need to live a life. But there's one thing that they cannot replace, and that is food and water, essentials for survival. So to keep you home and consuming their product, I believe they'll partner with a gig app like DoorDash or Uber Eats to make sure that you never have to leave. You could just stay on your app, order DoorDash through your VR headset, and have it show up at your door. You never even have to take the goggles off. You just tap the side twice and boom, you're back into reality, or that's what you used to call it. You pick up your food, you eat it, and bam, you're back into the metaverse. But of course, someone has to stay in reality to make the food and deliver it to your door. Unless if they eventually move to drones, like something Amazon tested out. It's starting to get scary how similar the real world is becoming to Ready Player One. A fictional movie, of course, but it's not going to be fiction for very much longer. It's already to the point where it's not that far off. Welcome to the darkness. We got a couple absurd topics here that seem laughable, but now exist thanks to the metaverse. We always imagine time travel like Stewie Griffin and having a time travel machine where he jumps back and forth and causes mayhem. But now you can literally travel back into time periods you could never in real life. You can virtually visit structures that no longer exist, maybe even virtually visit people that no longer exist. They can make you feel like you're truly in a different era in the past or the future. Not to mention, this is just another way to keep you in the metaverse. You could never visit all of the world wonders in one day, but now with virtual reality, you can. You can feel like you visited new countries, worlds, or even galaxies, eliminating the need for you to go into your car and do it in real life. You're getting that feeling of exploring and not just being stuck in your house, which makes you probably want to do that less and less in the real world, where gas prices are going up. And not to mention the real dangers of travel on roads, where in virtual reality, there's near no danger. So time travel may not work the way we thought it would, but we're definitely advancing at a startling rate. As the metaverse is becoming more and more like real life, there are some essential things that we will just need. One of those would be an enforcer to enforce the rules in a certain metaverse. If there's business, there has to be people enforcing the rules and monitoring. We need to make sure that people are safe and that these things that they're buying stay safe. Just like in the real world, you can be harassed or verbally attacked in the metaverse. And these are things that no one wants, which could be one reason why we may actually end up with virtual police officers someday. There's already this fake police department out there, and obviously it's a joke mostly in VR chat right now, but we could see something very real like this in the future. As of right now, it's almost impossible to steal metaverse NFTs since it's built off of the blockchain, which is a very secure project. But imagine if it evolved to the point where you can actually steal these and hackers can take these NFTs that you purchase with real money. I think you guys could quickly see how fast we would need an enforcer in the metaverse. The Abyss. This is the very bottom of the iceberg, and I saved some of the most interesting topics for this layer. These topics make it seem that we already live in a Ready Player One universe where we can just remain in the virtual world, where we can have fun, make money, and meet friends. There would seem like there's no reason to leave. There's so many metaverses and different types of metaverse land that you can buy right now, but for now, let's just take a look at the Sandbox, probably the most popular virtual real estate right now that you can purchase. It's so popular that it's actually difficult just to get your hands on it because everyone wants to get in at the bottom. With the huge rise of Bitcoin, a lot of people see the value in these obscure things. And just getting in at day one could change your life. Imagine if all the properties value rose like Bitcoin, which it can because these virtual properties, their worth is tied up into cryptocurrencies, which is already on the rise. Basically, just like the real world, you can buy plots of land. For example, here it shows the exact location in the metaverse and the size. You can even rent land, which is where the whole metaverse real estate thing becomes a real profit gold mine. There's a total of 166,464 unique pieces of land. If you guys go to the Sandbox map, you guys are able to see exactly what the world looks like. As you guys can see by looking at it, some people own more property than others. For the most part, it's a lot of small blocks, but these big blocks are worth a substantial amount of money. Like I was saying earlier, someone paid $450,000 just to be near Snoop Dogg's world. So yeah, if you ever wondered what metaverse real estate looked like, here it is. Obviously, each world has its own structures and its different look. They're all unique and basically just a mini world inside of the metaverse. And some people have even said that this has been used for money laundering, to somehow hide all the income that someone's making illegally and having it all tied up in the cryptocurrency. This is one of the coolest concepts that I found on the metaverse, and it is pay to earn video games. So imagine playing Call of Duty and ranking up and feeling accomplished. But now let's throw some real profit in the mix. Imagine the satisfaction that you would get from playing a video game, having fun, and making real money to pay your bills. This sounds like how addiction starts, but as of right now, this is not super profitable, and it kind of depends on your skills on these games. But it is enough to make a little extra income on the side while having some fun. Obviously, if you guys go to a Metaverse casino, you can make some serious profit. And you could also lose. If this had more users, it may eventually become to the point where it's profitable enough that you could just become a professional gamer and just play these games and make real life money. This has already happened in a sense with companies like FaZe, so just think about that. There could be a market for these people to record themselves playing these virtual reality games. And that is just one way where you start to connect the real world to the virtual reality world. Here are a few examples of pay-to-earn games: Axie Infinity, Alien Worlds, Splinterlands, Gods Unchained, Farmer's World, Thetan Arena. And let's talk about this one a bit more because we have a very good example of how this works on Jordan Welch's channel. So he paid a little over $100 for this character that allowed him to actually earn whenever he wins a game. Of course, they make it so you can't make too much money on this because they can't lose money on the game. So there's a limit to how many games that you can win as a character. And there's also a max number of games that you can use the character for, meaning that eventually you'll have to buy another character to keep playing. So in an hour, he was able to earn a whopping $17, but like I was saying, there are some limitations and he can't just keep doing this hour after hour. He said it would probably take him about 15 days with an extremely high win rate just to break even for the price of the character. So yes, it is possible to make some money in the metaverse playing video games, but it's not extremely profitable yet. You might be better off flipping NFTs. If you watch Ready Player One, you could see some of the equipment that is already being worked on to feel more immersed into this metaverse world, such as an omnidirectional treadmill. This would allow you to live in a tiny apartment but still feel like you could run anywhere in the world. You could run in any direction at any rate you wanted, and you're never gonna run into a wall or stub your toe. You're on a treadmill that moves with you in any direction. It's kind of sad. It's starting to look like we're just becoming a hamster on a hamster wheel. This is a real thing though. You guys could take a look at it. There's even memes of people using these and running away from monsters in horror video games. So if you can run anywhere and feel like there's nothing holding you back, then what's next? You guys need to feel more immersed by feeling. So they already sell these vests. They're called haptic suits. They can actually mimic pain by using electricity to give you these feelings that make you feel like you were stabbed. Obviously, it's not going to hurt near as much, but it still makes you flinch. So if you guys are playing a game, something like Call of Duty in the virtual space, you guys could get shot and then flinch, and it actually affects your accuracy in the game. These suits can also vibrate, so if there's an explosion near you, you guys will actually feel it. This can also be a good way to make you feel bass, so if you guys are at a concert, they can make your vest shake to the music, so it feels like you're standing right in front of a massive speaker. Imagine being able to tap your friend on the shoulder and for him to actually recognize that it is you right there trying to get his attention. They say that these suits can actually even make you feel like you're standing out in wild and being rained on. Something so simple as a raindrop touching your shoulder, you can now feel with this haptic suit. This was just one example where this guy felt a very, very small amount of pain, and he actually flinched because of the feeling that this electricity gave him. So when he was stabbed in the metaverse, it felt like he was actually affected in real life. And whenever you guys have real life consequences inside of a video game, things become very real. And it makes it hard to distinguish what is real and fake. It doesn't get any closer to Ready Player One than it is now. And we're almost there already. The metaverse is getting more and more real. Well, there you have it, the official Metaverse Iceberg. Hopefully now you have a clear picture of what the metaverse actually is and what it has to offer already at the very beginning stages of this advanced project. If you found this entertaining, drop a like below as it really helps this channel out. Anyways, if you want to join the metaverse, just buy a Quest headset like me. They already sell these things for super cheap to get you hooked. So if you guys think about it, $300 will get you into the metaverse where you can have some pretty crazy experiences that you would never be able to have anywhere else. Check out my description down below if you guys are interested in finding a headset to enter the VR world. Using my link below helps tremendously and costs you 0 extra. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video.